Welcome back to a special edition of Politics Nation, live from Sanford, Florida. Today's decision by Police Chief Bill Lee to temporarily step down does not end the growing questions about the police actions or inactions and mishandling of the case. Chief Lee told the Miami Herald that when the 911 operator asked Zimmerman the race of the suspicious person he saw, the neighborhood watch, self-appointed watch captain, did not know. That was Lee's version of events. But the actual 911 tape shows that wasn't true.
This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black. He's got his hand in his waistband. Yeah, he's a black male.
And the questions only grow from there. Did police add evidence of a struggle to bolster Zimmerman's case? In a police account, time-stamped 2/28, there's no mention of Zimmerman being bloodied. But in a report filed an hour later at 3:29, the officer writes, Zimmerman's back appeared to be wet. He was also bleeding from the nose and the back of his head. And the officer, Timothy Smith, writes in his report, quote, at no point did I question Zimmerman about the incident that had taken place. But a statement posted on the city's website says just the opposite. Quote, when the Sanford Police Department arrived at the scene of the incident, Mr. Zimmerman provided a statement claiming he acted in self-defense. So did the police talk to him at the scene or not? Did Zimmerman have a bloody nose or not? Did police downplay the role of race in this incident or not? Joining me now is Norton Bonaparte Jr., the city manager of Sanford, Florida, and the man with the power to fire the police chief, and Jeff Triplett, the mayor of Sanford. Thank you both for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Let me start with you, Mr. Bonaparte. The chief took a temporary leave today, stepped aside. Did he step aside on his own, or did you ask him to step aside?
Chief Lee recognized that while he believes that the police did a good job, the distraction that he was bringing to this case made it impossible to move forward with the current situation. So he made the decision to temporarily step aside.
His decision, not yours.
That was his decision.
Now, you're looking into his conduct, you're looking into the conduct of the department. Are you still looking into this since you have not made a decision, since this was his decision?
Absolutely.
So you could still fire him?
Yes, I could. And as you pointed out, we don't know a lot. I have a lot of questions. I know the mayor has a lot of questions. So I want to have an independent investigation to give me answers to those questions that I can then make a determination.
When you spoke with him, do you think that he's beginning to understand what egregious behavior some of this investigation appears to be? Or do you think he's just doing something because it's the politically wise thing to do?
I think Chief Lee recognizes that for the well-being and for what we all want, for justice to be taking place for the murder of Trayvon Martin, he was becoming more of a distraction than needed, and that's why he decided to step aside.
Mayor Triplett, you voted no confidence in him last night. Why?
As I said last night, there's a whole lot to this investigation that are still open with questions, and a lot of different people come take a look at how that whole thing happened. My point was, in my heart, if I can't truly entrust him on confidence of from here out, or from what I've seen from the point in time that I got involved until now, I got to say I don't have confidence in what's happened.
But let me raise this. He's been there 10 months, but there's been problems going back much further than this. This isn't the first case involving race, and we've been hearing from people talking since this brought to all of this to attention. So one wonders whether a new chief will solve the problem, or if we need to really deal with some structural change. Look at this: racially tinged incidents involving Sanford police. 2012 shooting death of Trayvon Martin. But in 2010, son of a police officer charged with beating a homeless black man. 2005, murder charges against 2 white security guards dismissed after a black teen was shot. The list go on. There's a problem. Are we going to be honest and deal with the problem? Thousands of your citizens are marching. Do we understand that it's a problem and that a temporary relief pill of the chief is not going to address the real problem here?
Well, I think the real question is, what is the problem? And I think that to look at the Sanford Police Department needs a lot more than just looking at Chief Lee. Leadership is very important. But as you pointed out, Reverend, this has been going on for several years. So we need to find out what the real problem is and then address it. Address it real, where the citizens of Sanford feel they have a police department that is looking at their best interest.
You once said this was a complete and fair investigation, did you? Or the chief said it?
The chief said it.
Do you now believe this has been a fair investigation?
I believe the Sanford Police Department has done what they could. I also know that the fact that the state's attorney,
what they've done?
I believe that they did what they think they could do.
So
the
with all
good
these
thing about it is that it's now being able to be looked at not only by the Sanford Police Department, but by the state's attorney's office, by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, by the United States Department of Justice. All those eyes are now on this case, Reverend.
But I just raised several contradictions where you have blatant contradictions when what was said by a police officer and what is actually said on tape and what was actually put in police reports. How could that be fair? It's questionable.
Absolutely, it's questionable. And that's why we're asking the state attorney to look at all the evidence and make a determination.
Mr. Mayor, you don't have the authority over the police chief, but you are the mayor. Can you see the blatant disregard that many people feel they're experiencing when you see policemen just changing reports, policemen saying things that's not factual when we come with the tape? A young man dead and no one is arrested. 30 days. This young man almost dead 30 days. Do you understand the anger in this community is not just people just want to be angry? They feel under siege.
Absolutely, and I've sat in on a lot of conversations over the last couple of days of people beyond this case that feel that they've been aggrieved with the Sanford Police Department. I've taken a ton of notes on that. This is going to go way beyond this case, and we're going to look into that. I made promises today that I'm going to go into this, and as long as I'm mayor, as long as I'm going down the path, we're going to make the right decisions once we hear it all come out.
Mr. Bonaparte, you have a responsibility as elected official in your position here in the county and in the city, but you're also a man. Can you think about if Trayvon had been your son in there? Can you think about would there have been any difference between your son and Trayvon and understand how his parents feel? All he did was go to the store and was headed back to a home to watch the All-Star game. How do we explain to anybody how he ends up dead with all of these technicalities, with all this bureaucracy? He could have been your son.
Absolutely, Reverend. And I have been found guilty of walking while black. I have been stopped by the police officers, I believe, simply because I was black. I realize that. I have a son, I have grandsons. This is a tragedy. We want to work so it doesn't happen again and that the Martin family gets justice.
Well, it's a tragedy, but it's also a crime, because anytime you kill somebody without a self-defense, even in this state with those laws, it's a crime. And there certainly was no self-defense here. You don't defend yourself against Skittles and iced tea. And I think that's what we said to the Justice Department today, and I think that's what the family's saying, that we appreciate, the family appreciates the sympathy, but a crime has to be prosecuted, and it seems as though this police department, and maybe not this prosecutor, wants to prosecute. You cannot have equal justice if some human beings are hurt and there's a prosecution, and others are hurt and there's sympathy.
Which is the exact reason that we reached out to the DOJ. We went up to Washington 2 days ago on just to get in front of the DOJ and say, please, come in so we can find where the justice, we can get there. I truly think we can get there. And while you're there, tell us what we've done wrong.
All right, Norton Bonaparte Jr., thank you, and Mayor Jeff Triplett, thanks both of you for coming on the show tonight. We'll be right back with 2 city commissioners who voted no confidence in the police chief, and we will ask them can they move to help get justice? You're watching Politics Nation, a special edition live from Sanford, Florida.